Okay, so battery died. And I continued to fight some rounded out screws with no luck. I don't know how this decision's gonna go, but we're gonna give her the old college try and see if we can't get the gas tank to pop down and go from there. Okay, so one of the big takeaways from that is if you ever weld a trailer hitch into a Tri-5, make sure that the leaf bolts are positioned in the right direction. Currently, you saw the rear of the leaves unattached. I'm going to be attaching those in a minute. One of the reasons I did this, kind of wanted to figure out, hey, if I ever have to pull a fuel tank when I have a axle that I care about in, what all needs to happen. So basically what I had to do was disconnect the shocks even though they were shot. So if they're good shocks, disconnect those first. Couldn't get the fuel sender out in chassis when the tank was in chassis, so removing it made sense. Disconnected the shocks, like I said, then took the bottom leaf spring bolts out. Whoever did this hitch back in the day had the bolts positioned to where they were hitting this part on the way out from there. You can see the bushings are shot. I got brand new. Need to figure out what I'm doing there first. But yeah, station wagon tank honestly does not fit in there very nicely. I think I pulled some of that brake line down trying to get it when it was fully up. That'll be something to keep an eye on when in the future I ever try to pull this again in chassis, or likewise, or when I redo the rear end to whatever I go with, and however I route the brake line. So here's where we're at. These were the two screws that I could just not get a handle on when they were in there. This one was a little bit easier to tell, being as it was right above this. Couldn't really see it from the angle looking up, but you could just see they're just completely chewed up. This dent was in there prior to me pulling it. I guess somebody else tried this at some point and had similar success. I'm gonna pull this off, drain the tank, and kind of see what the innards, I guess you would call them, whatever the liquid that comes out looks like, to see what kind of gum and fish and other types of stuff may be in there. So here we go. We'll pull the rest of the second unit out after I get the camera positioned. Okay, so as you'll be able to see in the time lapse, I was able to get the other two screws out. Would not have been able to do that in chassis. The more I look at this tank, the more it looks like the rest of the underside of the car, so I'm not expecting a lot inside of the tank. And I'm guessing the sending unit's been changed at some point, because there was a flathead screw, which I believe is factory, and then Phillips and the others that were completely rounded out. There's one. Hopefully you can tell. It wasn't Allen, by the way. I looked as good as I could before off camera, but you can see they're just gone. So let's see what kind of surprises we have under here. What the hell? Okay. Hopefully Jimmy Hoffa doesn't come out of here. No sock. I believe the sending unit was working. And woof, that don't look good. Lots of garbage on there. Let's see. Ugh, leaking some green junk onto my driveway. Let's see what comes out. Oof. Yeah. Let me see here. Hopefully you can tell. That's down inside on the bottom now. It ain't good. I'm putting the light in the fill hole where the hose would go. I'm guessing this is the factory tank. That part right there you're seeing is what goes on top of the wagon spare wheel, or the Nomad spare wheel. So what's gathered back there that looks like oil is actually the gasoline. It ain't good. So I'm gonna drain that into something. You can kind of tell from just the look of the tank that it's probably the factory guy and all the crap that fell off of there that God only knows what went down in. I'm gonna go try to find a 5-gallon bucket. I don't know if I have one or not. The top of it looks good, so I'd almost guess that this may be the first time it came out, even though it did have a hiccup down here. This is probably from tonight, being that it's fresh, all that. And the gas straps, oh man, you can see the green in the gas. That ain't good. I didn't put anything in the tank, so that's not my damage. And that's draining from the float, so she wasn't working all that well. And you can see all the garbage on there. God only knows what that is. So, where's my compressor at? I'm gonna throw some air on real quick and try to blow through that to make sure that that was where, blow through the sending unit to make sure that that's supposed to where my blockage was, and then we'll be done. Wife's almost home. Is it gone?
Yep.
Okay, so when everything was in chassis and this was still in the tank, before I pulled it, I wasn't able to blow through here and have anything positive come out of this when my wife was holding it by her hand. So I'm gonna see right now, a bunch of green junk just came out of the float, which ain't good. We'll see what comes out of here when I blow it, if anything. There's absolutely nothing coming out of there. Try it the other way. Nothing at all. So this is blocked with something.
Something just came out of it. It hit me in the face.
Where?
I don't know from where. It blew from somewhere.
It's blowing back out of this.
Okay.
It's not coming out of.
Is the battery dead if this isn't going?
Huh? No. So this is plugged solid. I may try to stick a pipe cleaner or something down in there to see what got it. But it's junk. That's junk. And yeah, that's it for today. So we started out looking to pressure wash the front of this thing. Pressure washer took a dump. Then found another dump in the gas tank. So lots of dumps today. Just press that button.